Hey guys, in the last episode we put the conversion oil pan on, the oil pan off of an F-body car, took off the truck oil pan. We also had to change the windage tray and the oil pickup. We put the girdle support on that oil pickup tube, and now we're ready to change the motor mounts. Driver top, that appears to line up, so this must be the engine side. I see this bracket might interfere with this bolt. I'm going to take it out. This was for one of my ground wires, and the ground wire in the engine harness, and then one of the main battery grounds to the block. I'm probably going to relocate that to the other side anyways, since my battery will be on the passenger side. Okay, so in the bolt kit there are some hex socket or an Allen wrench style bolt. There's 8 of them. Those go into these brackets. The hex size is 8mm. So if you don't have one, you'll have to pick one up. And then in the instructions I found on their website, they recommend installing the lower perch onto the engine and not pre-mounting this onto the cross member. They said if you don't have this aligned properly, when you install the engine, it'll damage the urethane bushings. So I'm just going to set that there. I might snug the nut up because it does have a collar in the middle, and I'll get it kind of where I need to be, but I'll leave it loose enough to where I can still pivot it around. I should need to be about right there, somewhere in that range. Okay, so even with that snugged up, since it locks down on that bushing on the inside or that steel collar, you can still position the mount where you need it. I think I'm actually going to flip this around. I just looked in the engine bay and it looks like my my one leg that's longer needs to be up here. That also hangs this mount a little bit lower, so the engine will be up off the cross member. So this bracket doesn't fit the mounts or the block, because it hits the AC compressor. So since we don't know if we're going to run this style setup anyways, I'm just going to take the AC off. I would either have to modify the bracket here, trim some of that down, or grind the aluminum down on the AC compressor bracket. With the bracket out of the way, I could now mount up the engine side motor mount bracket. And I'm going to mount this one the same way that I did the other side, where the bushing and the mount part is higher up on the bracket. So we're all good there. Another thing I noticed is there's no mount on the side of this oil pan for the tranny cooler lines. I wasn't sure if these lines would work anyways, So I think I'm probably gonna unhook them from the transmission, but I won't do that until I get ready to install it because I don't want it to keep leaking back there. I may have to build my own lines, but I was really hoping to utilize these lines all the way up to the front of the engine and then modify them to fit my needs up to the radiator. And for the transmission mount, for now, I'm just going to take it off. Since we don't know what kind of setup we need to run here, there's spacers in the kit. We don't know if we have to run the spacers or not, and we don't know the positioning of that bracket. I'm just going to leave this off until we get the engine transmission in the vehicle, and then we can work out the details here. Okay guys, that's it for this video. Now that we have the conversion motor mounts bolted up to the block, we're almost ready to install this into the vehicle. There's a few more things that I may have to unhook or move on the vehicle to prepare it to accept this engine. Once we get the engine installed in there, then we can figure out the details on that rear transmission mount. If you've been following the build up to this point, I appreciate you watching. If you're new, I have a playlist linked down below in the description with all the other videos. If you want to watch more videos like this, subscribe, click the bell. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.